I sat in the nursery I had spent weeks decorating, running my fingers over the soft yellow blankets while my belly rounded with my first baby. Everything felt perfect except for one thing. It was Sunday morning, and my phone had been unusually quiet. Today was supposed to be my baby shower, the day I had been dreaming about for months. My family had promised to make it special since my husband David was away on a business trip. I had covered so many expenses for them this year, and this felt like the one day they would truly be there for me. Something felt different though, and I could not shake the growing unease in my chest. Before I share what happened next, I would love to know where you are watching from. Please hit that like button if you have ever felt forgotten by the people who should matter most, and do not forget to subscribe for more real-life stories. Now, let me tell you about the day that changed everything between me and my family. Let me paint a picture of my family dynamics first. My mom, Linda, dad, Robert, older sister Jessica, and younger brother Marcus had always been close, or so I thought. As the middle child, I naturally became the glue that held everyone together. When conflicts arose, I mediated. When money got tight, I stepped in. This pregnancy was my first, and after years of supporting everyone else, I desperately needed to feel that same support flowing back to me. David and I had been trying for a baby for 2 years, and when we finally got pregnant, I was over the moon. David's engineering job required frequent travel, but he promised he would be back in time for the birth. Unfortunately, an emergency project came up, and he had to fly to Seattle the week before my baby shower. He felt terrible about missing it, but I assured him my family would be there. They had seemed genuinely excited when I first told them about the shower plans. What made this situation particularly painful was understanding exactly how much I had been contributing to my family's financial stability. Let me break down the numbers for you because they matter. Every month, I was covering $800 for my mom's rent after my dad took early retirement due to his back problems. I paid $3,200 each semester for Marcus's college tuition because my parents could not afford it and he had maxed out his student loans. Just 3 months ago, I had written a $1,500 check to fix Jessica's car transmission when she got stranded on the freeway. The family phone plan ran through my account at $150 monthly, and I had been covering my dad's medical insurance premiums at $400 per month since his workplace benefits ended. All told, I was contributing roughly $2,000 every month to keep my family afloat. As a marketing manager at a mid-sized tech company, I earned enough to handle these expenses, but they definitely impacted my own financial planning. I never complained because I genuinely believed family took care of family. I thought my generosity was building a foundation of mutual support that would be there when I needed it most. 3 weeks before the shower, I had sent detailed information to our family group chat. The location would be at Mom's house since it had the most space. Time was set for 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. I suggested simple decorations and mentioned I would bring thank you gifts for everyone. The response had been enthusiastic. Jessica sent heart emojis and said she could not wait. Marcus replied that he would definitely be there. Mom called me later that evening to discuss food options and told me how excited she was to celebrate her first grandchild. I spent the week before the shower preparing everything I could control. I bought small gift bags with personalized thank you notes for each family member. I picked up some simple decorations that would complement whatever Mom decided to do. I even prepared a short speech about what this pregnancy meant to me and how grateful I was for their support. Everything felt perfectly planned. Sunday morning arrived with unusual silence. At 10 o'clock, I sent a cheerful reminder to the family group chat. Good morning, everyone. Just a friendly reminder that the baby shower starts at 2 today. Cannot wait to see you all. I attached a smiling emoji and waited for the usual flood of responses. Nothing came. An hour passed. Then another. By noon, I was genuinely confused. I called Mom first, letting the phone ring until it went to voicemail. Then I tried Jessica, but her line was busy. Marcus's phone went straight to voicemail too. A cold feeling started settling in my stomach. These people who depended on me financially every single month could not even respond to a simple text about my baby shower. Something was definitely wrong, and I decided I needed to drive over there myself to figure out what was happening. At exactly 1:30 in the afternoon, I pulled into my mom's driveway. The house looked completely normal from the outside, but I noticed all the curtains were drawn and there were no cars in the driveway besides my mom's old Honda. No decorations were visible through the windows, no signs of preparation at all. My heart started pounding as I walked up to the front door. I rang the doorbell and waited. After what felt like forever, I heard shuffling footsteps and the sound of the deadbolt turning. Mom opened the door wearing her faded pink bathrobe and slippers. Her hair was messy, and she had the confused expression of someone who had just been woken up. She blinked at me several times before speaking. "Oh, honey, what are you doing here?" she asked, genuinely puzzled. "Mom, it's my baby shower. Remember? We planned this 3 weeks ago." I tried to keep my voice steady, but I could hear it starting to shake. The color drained from her face. She put her hand to her mouth and stared at me like I had just told her someone had died. Oh my God, was that today? I thought it was next weekend. I stood there holding my purse and the bag of thank you gifts, watching my mother realize she had completely forgotten the most important day I had planned in months. She immediately started fumbling for her phone, muttering apologies while dialing Jessica's number. "Jessica, honey, you need to get over here right now. Sarah's baby shower is today." "Yes, today. I know we messed up." She covered the phone and looked at me apologetically. She thought it was next weekend too. Then she called Marcus. "Marcus, where are you? You need to come home immediately. Your sister's baby shower is happening right now." I could hear his voice through the phone, though I could not make out the words. "I do not care if you are at Jake's house playing video games. Get in your car and come home now." I stood in the doorway listening to my mother scramble to fix a situation that should never have happened in the first place. These were the same people who never forgot to text me when their bills were due. The same people who called immediately when their automatic payments did not go through. But somehow, they had all collectively forgotten the one day I had asked them to prioritize me. After she finished the phone calls, Mom ushered me inside and started apologizing profusely. "Sarah, sweetheart, I am so sorry. We have just been so busy lately, and I guess it slipped our minds. Mom, I sent reminders every week for 3 weeks. It was in our group chat. We talked about it on the phone." I set my bags down on the coffee table and looked around the living room. Nothing had been prepared. No decorations, no food, no sign that anyone had given this day a single thought. "Well, we did not think it was that important," she said, and those words hit me like a physical blow. I actually stepped backward. "Not that important. I mean, it is just a party, honey. The baby is not even born yet. We can celebrate when the little one actually arrives." She said this so casually, like she was discussing the weather. I tried to explain what a baby shower meant to me, how it was about celebrating new life and showing support during a vulnerable time, how it represented the village that would help raise this child, how excited I had been to share this milestone with the people I loved most. But I could see in her eyes that she still did not understand why I was overreacting. 45 minutes later, Jessica arrived looking absolutely irritated. She was dressed in workout clothes and kept checking her Apple Watch. "I had to cancel my nail appointment for this," she announced as she walked through the door. "My manicurist is completely booked for the next 2 weeks. Jessica, I sent you the date 3 weeks ago. It was confirmed in our group chat," I said quietly. "I thought it was next weekend. Besides, I have a date tonight and I need time to get ready. Can we make this quick?" Marcus showed up an hour late with a PlayStation controller still sticking out of his jacket pocket. He hugged me half-heartedly and immediately started looking at his phone. "Sorry, sis. I was in the middle of a raid with the guys. They are waiting for me to get back online." Neither of them offered a sincere apology. Neither acknowledged that they had hurt me. They both acted like I was being unreasonable for expecting them to remember something they had committed to weeks earlier. The people who never forgot when they needed money from me had completely forgotten when I needed emotional support from them. Mom hurried into the kitchen and started throwing together the most basic refreshments she could manage. She opened a loaf of white bread and made a few peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, cutting them diagonally and arranging them on a paper plate. She grabbed some cans of Sprite from the refrigerator and poured them into mismatched glasses. There were no decorations except for a single yellow napkin she found in a drawer somewhere. Jessica spent the entire time texting her boyfriend, occasionally laughing out loud at something on her screen. When I tried to start a conversation about the pregnancy, she would make brief eye contact, nod, and immediately return to her phone. At one point, her boyfriend called and she actually answered it. "Yeah, I am stuck at my sister's baby thing. So boring," she said right in front of me. "I will call you back as soon as I can get out of here." Marcus had his earbuds in and was playing a mobile game while I attempted to open the few gifts that people had managed to grab at the last minute. Mom had wrapped up a package of newborn onesies from Target, still with the price tag attached. Jessica gave me a gift card to a baby store that she clearly bought on her way over. Marcus handed me a $20 bill and said, "Sorry, I did not have time to shop." The whole experience felt surreal. Here I was trying to celebrate one of the most important milestones of my life, and everyone was treating it like a chore they needed to finish as quickly as possible. When I shared some updates about how the pregnancy was going, Jessica interrupted me to take another phone call. When I mentioned that David and I had picked out names, Marcus asked if he could leave soon because his online teammates were getting frustrated. "Sarah, sweetheart, we need to wrap this up," Mom said after about an hour. "Your father wants to watch his Sunday show, and it starts at 4. I looked around the room at my family. Jessica was texting again. Marcus was openly playing his game. Mom was already starting to clean up the minimal mess they had made. None of them actually wanted to be there. They were all just going through the motions because they felt obligated, and they were not even trying to hide their desire to be anywhere else. That was the moment something clicked in my brain. These people saw me as a bank account, not as a person deserving of love and celebration. They had taken my financial support completely for granted while giving me nothing meaningful in return. I had been subsidizing their lives for years while convincing myself that we had a close, supportive family dynamic. But the truth was painfully obvious now. I stood up slowly and gathered my purse. "Thank you all for coming," I said with a smile that felt like ice. "This has been very enlightening." "What do you mean, honey?" Mom asked, looking confused by my sudden change in tone. "Nothing, Mom. Absolutely nothing," I replied, my voice steady and calm. I walked to my car while they were still sitting in the living room, probably relieved that the uncomfortable obligation was finally over. But I was not thinking about their relief. I was thinking about my bank account and all those automatic payments that were scheduled to process in the coming days. I drove to a quiet parking lot a few blocks away and sat in my car with the engine running. I opened our family group chat and scrolled back through months of messages. The pattern was crystal clear now. Most of their communications with me revolved around money in some way. Reminders about bills coming due, requests for help with unexpected expenses, thanks for payments that had already processed. Very little personal conversation. Very little interest in my life beyond what I could provide for them financially. I typed one final message. "Since I am not that important, I will not bother you anymore." Then I left the group chat. Next, I opened my banking app and started canceling payments. The recurring transfer for Mom's rent canceled. Marcus's tuition payment that was scheduled for the following week canceled. The family phone plan canceled. Dad's insurance premiums canceled. Every single automatic payment that had been supporting my family for months, gone. As I hit the final confirmation button, I felt a mixture of terror and liberation. I had never stood up for myself this way before. I had never withdrawn my support when people took me for granted. But sitting there with my hand on my growing belly, I realized that I needed to start modeling self-respect for my future child. Monday morning brought immediate consequences. My phone started ringing before 7 a.m. With my mom's panicked voice, "Sarah, honey, something is wrong with my rent payment. It did not go through and my landlord is asking questions." I let it go to voicemail. Marcus called 20 minutes later. "Sis, there seems to be an issue with my tuition payment. The bursar's office says it was declined. Can you call them voicemail again? Jessica. Did you forget to pay the phone bill? My service got suspended this morning and I have important calls to make for work." More voicemail. Finally, Dad called around noon. "Sarah, what is going on with the insurance? They sent me a notice that my policy will lapse if the premium is not paid by Friday." I turned my phone completely off. By Tuesday, they had started borrowing phones from friends and coworkers to reach me. The messages gradually shifted from confusion to frustration to genuine panic. Marcus left a voicemail from his roommate's phone. "This is ridiculous, Sarah. We are family. You cannot just cut us off like this." Jessica used her boyfriend's phone. "You are being incredibly immature. Mom is crying and Dad's insurance situation is serious. Whatever tantrum you are having needs to stop." But it was Wednesday when Dad showed up at my office that everything really changed. I was in a meeting when my assistant knocked on the conference room door and told me there was a family emergency. I walked out to find my father sitting in the lobby looking older and more tired than I had ever seen him. "Sarah, we need to talk," he said quietly. We went to a coffee shop across the street, and for the first time in my adult life, my father actually listened to me speak without interrupting or dismissing my concerns. I explained how forgotten and unimportant I had felt on Sunday. I told him about watching my family treat my baby shower like an inconvenience they needed to endure. I described the years of feeling like nothing more than a financial resource. "We made a mistake," he said finally. "We got so comfortable with your generosity that we forgot to treat you with the respect you deserve." Dad, I sent reminders for weeks. Everyone confirmed they would be there, but when the day came, I was completely forgotten. "You are right. We took you for granted because you never complained. We assumed you knew how much we appreciated you, but we never actually showed it." He admitted that the family had become dependent on my financial support in ways that were not healthy. They had stopped managing their own emergencies because they knew I would always step in. They had made commitments they could not afford because my safety net was always there. "What do you need from us to make this right?" he asked. It was a question I had never heard from any family member before. Over the following weeks, things slowly started to change. Mom got a part-time job to help cover her rent. Marcus took out additional student loans and got a work-study position on campus. Jessica started budgeting more carefully and stopped making impulsive purchases she could not afford. Dad researched more affordable insurance options and started managing his medical expenses more carefully. More importantly, they started treating me like a person rather than a bank. Mom called to ask how I was feeling, not to discuss money. Jessica invited me to lunch just to spend time together. Marcus actually remembered to ask about my doctor appointments without being prompted. When David returned from his business trip, I told him everything that had happened. He was proud of me for finally setting boundaries and supported my decision completely. We decided to have a small baby shower with just our close friends, and it was everything the family event should have been. People who actually cared about us celebrating a new life with genuine joy and excitement. The relationship with my family improved gradually. It took several months, but we eventually found a new balance built on mutual respect rather than financial dependency. They learned to value what I had been providing, and I learned that love without respect is not really love at all. Looking back now, I realized that the most loving thing I could have done was teach my family how to value what they had been taking for granted. Sometimes you have to stop giving everything to help people understand what they have been receiving. My baby is due in just a few weeks, and I know that the village raising this child will be built on genuine care and respect, not obligation and guilt. The hardest lesson was learning that being generous with people who do not appreciate your generosity is not actually kindness. It is enabling them to treat you poorly while calling it love. Real family shows up when it matters, not just when they need something from you. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply stop doing what people expect you to do, especially when they have forgotten to be grateful for it. My family forgot about my baby shower because they had forgotten about me as a person. But now they remember, and that makes all the difference. Have you ever had to teach people in your life to appreciate what you do for them? I would love to hear your stories in the comments below. Please hit that like button if this story resonated with you, and do not forget to subscribe for more real-life experiences about family relationships and learning to value yourself. Share this with someone who might need to hear that it is okay to set boundaries with people you love. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope it helps you remember that your worth is not determined by what you can do for others. You deserve to be valued for who you are, not just what you provide.